let's get right into it. So how do we actually pronounce your name, for
So
starters?
it is a lemur. I was 8 years old when I made it off of Momo from Avatar: The Last Airbender, and I spelled it wrong, and it's stuck ever since.
So it's what? Sorry, how'd you say it?
Lemur,
Luma.
like the animal.
Yeah, so I said it right. Okay, good. So it's Luma. Okay, and so what kind? So you are what, silver 3 on NA right now? Yeah, is that
I'm
correct?
silver 3 on NA. I was silver 1 like 2 weeks ago, and I have just not been able to win games. So I definitely need the help to keep climbing.
Yeah. So on your OPGG it says you have a lovely 46% win rate in solo queue at the moment.
Indeed.
But you have been playing ranked, which is good. You've done about 200 games this season, which is on the lower end, I'd say. Overall, we're now halfway through the season. Um, but you have been doing a lot of normals. Why do you do
Yeah. So
normals?
I'm in a server with a whole bunch of friends. One of the active members of this community, Slimsh, is actually also in that server. I played a lot more ranked last season than I've played this season so far. But I always had a positive win rate last season when I was playing ranked. And this season, when I've tried to dip my toes into it after playing a bunch of normals with friends and stuff like that, I just feel like I've lost my edge, and I haven't been able to kind of like facilitate the carries in a way that lets them win games. And it feels like that gets worse the lower down I go.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, really, the reason why I say 200 games is on the lower end, I can already see one person in Twitch chat. It's like 200 games is low. I mean, it is overall if you analyze it and you do normal games instead. So if I look at looking at your account right now, for example, like I'm looking through your op.gg, but you've got everything that hasn't got like the download button is normals. So I'd say like about 60% of your games, at least recently, have been normal games.
Yep.
So do you feel like you're picking up like potentially bad habits from doing that as well, or like do you feel like you're actually training at all, or?
So I think there's some bad habits that are getting picked up. I think the majority of the time, the bigger issue isn't the habits necessarily. It's the fact that I'm playing with friends, right? And our friends are a lot of different elos. We have a lot of higher level players, but they kind of sandbag in the normals we play, and then we have a lot of lower level players that are genuinely trying to improve to get up to the point where they can play ranked. So the skill disparity is super spread out. So when I'm playing games where I'm playing with people of a similar skill level to me, it's difficult to understand what to do because I'm used to enabling either very high level players or trying to enable players that are maybe lower bronze. So it's difficult for me to pick out how to actually improve with players at my skill level readily instead of already doing the things for like the players of the higher elo and stuff like that.
So you feel like you're skipping steps basically?
Yeah, and I can't skip steps obviously because I need to get to that point.
Okay. One thing I'd say, like already from the champions that you've been playing Ace in ranked anyway, I see a Blitzcrank, I see Thresh, I see Alistair. Are those like your kind of like comfort picks and basically playing hard engaged supports?
So I'm pretty much an only hard engage player. The only enchanter I really play is Zillion. But I play Thresh Blitzcrank. I'm definitely more comfortable on Blitzcrank and Nautilus than anything else. Thresh is kind of the pick that's just a lot better right now and still kind of facilitates the same role. And I thought, hey, why not be able to play a little bit safer and get some people out where Blitzcrank and Nautilus can't really do that by themselves.
I'd probably say straight away is that since you mentioned Nautilus, I would like to see you on that more. At least from like your match history, I didn't see a single game of Nautilus on it.
Yeah, I
Uh,
got I got discouraged super hard because I had a bad win rate on Nautilus this season, and I really should just beat through it. But I had like a 40% win rate on it, and I was like, oh man, this is
yeah.
discouraging.
So the reason why I say that is because Thresh in yellows below low plat, honestly, it becomes pretty difficult to facilitate your team with that, with lanterns and with overall mechanical skill. If I'm just going to be like brutally honest, I don't think like a lot of silver players can necessarily play Thresh to the capability that he's required to, whereas something like Nautilus, his kit is much easier to pull off and doesn't require as much kind of like mechanical prowess. So I'd say definitely the Nautilus is a good idea. Blitzcrank, I would say I think he's just kind of the scuffed version of Nautilus at the moment. I don't feel like he's particularly necessarily worth doing. I know like a lot of people are afraid of playing against Blitzcrank, but I feel like once again you can still do the same kind of things anyway with a Nautilus. And in fact you have more utility with Nautilus. So yeah, I'd say like try if you can veer more into the Nautilus.
Okay.
Also, what about like Leona? Are you confident on her at all?
Yeah. Leona is also one of my higher mastery champions. I very much like Leona. I just kind of burned myself out on her from
Right.
playing, because last season I think I played like 400 games of Leona.
Right.
So I really like her, and I know she's in a fantastic spot right now. But when I play her into enchanters, I just kind of stutter and don't know what to do. Whenever there's like a hard engage matchup, I usually will pick her.
Right.
But for now, I've been trying to get like the hook mechanics up a little bit just to try to see, okay, maybe I can try to carry some games just by like positioning better than my opponents. But yeah, I'm open to trying anything to improve that 46%.
Yeah, so Leona is just like, especially against like the enchanters, early she can get poked out, but once you hit like level 2, level 3, that's when you start looking just to having to engage as quickly as possible before you get poked down. So it's all about like learning that level 1 and not taking too much damage level 1. That's really what it kind of comes down to. And then when you reset, come back into the lane, you need to kind of, like same with any of these engaged supports, you just need to kind of engage as quickly as possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so I'm gonna have a look at one of your games here. The Thresh one is looking the nicest. It's a shame there's no Nautilus here or any Leonas. But I think Thresh is probably the next kind of best bet here. Yeah, let's have a look at this, like this 40-minute game. Interesting item choices. I see you've been picking up Zeke's a lot. Do you like the item?
So I like Zeke's convergence. That specific game I think you're looking at, I was duoing with a buddy who I knew would be able to he was playing Ezreal, and I knew he was pretty good at Ezreal, so hopefully he would be able to utilize Zeke's to the majority of the time. And obviously, like the utility with the ultimate on Thresh is nice because you can like pull yourself to them and ults and pop Zeke's and just do a bunch. But I like that item a lot. Personally, I've always veered toward the try to be supportive, but also still try to get stuff done because I am in a lower elo. And so I like Zeke's, I like Redemption, but a lot of the time, like teammates will kind of run out of my redemptions that I put down, and Zeke's is a good counterbalance of like I'm still doing something with my ultimate and still like on top of them.
Okay, I personally will say that I don't really like Zeke's. But I'm gonna look at this game and then we'll have a talk about items as it goes through.
Absolutely.
Right, let me look this one up. Are you watching the stream, right? So you can see what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
right?
I've got it on my second monitor. So
okay, awesome.
Pull it up.
All right, let's get into game here. Right, okay, your red side. Okay. So what item do you start off with? Yep, still show the cards. Yep, good. Level 1 invade. Okay. Nothing really else to say about that. That's fine. Go back as quickly as possible. I just realized the minimap overlay's on. There we go.
Yeah, you'll like this one.
Okay. Right, yeah. So from whenever you do like a level 1 invade, especially like it's on the opposite side of the map, so for you it's like you're on the literal opposite, you just want to recall, reset, then come back out from Fountain. It's just the safest thing you can do rather than going through your own jungle for this very reason.
Yeah, the jungler asked me to check the buff, and I should have just ignored him and recalled.
Yeah, you should. Even in solo queue, never bother. Never like do that. It's too risky for this very reason. So yeah, that's oof, and that's gonna definitely impact your start here. You're gonna miss 3 melee minions. for level 2. Ezra gets caught out. Okay. So yeah, I mean, I'm not going to go on to that too much, but whenever you do an invade, like, never face check brushes. There's never going to be a good outcome of that. If they're there, you're definitely going to die. So
just always recall and walk back.
Always recall and walk back. Exactly. Alright, so you started hook. Ez is already really low. So yeah, you're going to have to play really passive. I know you like fishing for a hook there, I just noticed, but honestly, there's just like no point in kind of like even looking for an engage. Especially like if your hook is down. If I was this Vayne and I saw you just use your hook at level 2, I'd be looking to be pretty aggressive into the Ezreal. So don't just use your hook like for no reason, basically. It's kind of the same, like the more you play it Blitzcrank, so like when your hook's down, you can't do anything.
Yeah,
it's still that kind of like aspect on Thresh as well.
Yeah, when I got back to lane, I was feeling a little bit flustered because of the level 1 death, and I make some questionable plays here early, and that was definitely one of them.
I mean, under normal circumstances, you'd probably want to try and get an auto attack or 2 here, which I can see you're trying to do. I think once you got 2 stacks of that Vayne passive, you just need to walk really far back, otherwise you're gonna take a bit of chunk there from press the attack and do true silver bolts. I know it's probably quite difficult because the minions are pushed up, but whenever Braum kind of looks to walk up for a relic shield hit. Okay, that was in from Braum actually. Yeah, whenever Braum walks up for a relic shield hit, you kind of want to look to try and harass him at that point. I want to kind of watch this back here. I think you could have done a lot here.
Yeah.
It's kind of random. It did catch me off guard that Braum did do that. But straight away when he goes in for this W, he's basically under tower, right? And if you crowd control him at this point, this minion's just died. So technically he would be tanking the turret right now. So if you were to land any crowd control here, he would be tanking the entire turret for the entire time. So at this point, I would try and like get in and then flay back and then Q him.
Yeah, just try to maximize the turret shots.
Yeah, that flay needed to kind of be like instant. I know it's like, it's easy to see that like from looking back and saying that, because that was kind of random what he did there.
Yeah, you saw me stand still because I was kind of like processing what happened.
And if you were to play that like perfectly, he wouldn't necessarily die, but he would go down pretty low. Maybe he would use flash as well. So if you were able to react with a flay hook there instantly, then you would have benefited a lot from that. And the fact that trade ended up working, because somehow you managed to get out traded by the Vayne there as well. So pretty strange play overall. What we'll say in this lane, like playing, I know you only play hard engage. Alright, I'm just gonna pause it here. I know you only play hard engage, but like playing hard engage with an Ezreal is kind of oof. As you probably know. So there's not really too much you can really do, even if you were in this part of this laning phase, like from the very beginning, like looking for a potential outplay would be pretty difficult without a jungler anyway. Let's have a look here. This hook that you do. Yeah, once again, Braum uses his W and Braum overextends. I think this is, even though you are low, I think this is the right choice to get a little bit of free harassment here on the Braum. But I don't think you can commit too crazy though because of the health that you have. So yeah, I think you did the right thing there.
Yeah, I also, like, Braum hadn't used his shield, so I knew he had it up. So I was just trying to get Ezreal like a free Q or something, get something out of the trade.
Yeah, you definitely didn't want to like commit onto that, so you did the right thing. Yeah, lanterns, that's fine. You guys are just struggling a lot now. You're just basically looking to be able to recall. Yeah, just try not to fish out for hooks for too much. Like if Braum does that random W again forward, then you would want to look for a hook. But other than that, you don't really want to. You're not looking for an engage here just because your Ezra just won't be able to do anything. So it'd be like the only time you would be able to hook, like here for example, would be big. Like if they're using the turret, for example, then that's huge for you. You can definitely play off that. I believe your
Here,
flay
I
is...
should have flayed first. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's so that there seems to be... This might end up being a recurring theme then. So yeah, should be flay here for sure into an easy Q.
Yeah.
The Vayne, like if the Vayne gets flayed here, she obviously still has both heal and flash, but it would be one of those summoners burnt for sure.
Yeah, she has to throw one of them.
Like here, just a little bit quicker reaction here on the flay for sure. And then at this point, Braum would be in front, and then Braum would be looking to take turret aggro potentially. It's quite difficult to say because there is this casting minion walking forward here, but yeah, just quicker reaction on the flay, looking to do the flay. This is why I say, like, as well, I'm not really surprised that this is necessarily happening at your ELO because Thresh is like incredibly hard to play anyway.
Yeah.
And with a Nautilus, all you would have to do there would just Q. You would just Q auto. Yeah, exactly, and then just so it's much easier mechanically to pull off than something like the Thresh.
Mm-hmm. This entire game as well, like I said, I was duoed with the Ezreal. He locked in Ezreal after I locked in Thresh, and he was trying to focus on wave management. This game was his big thing.
Why did Farmer Bizzle get promoted? Because he was outstanding in his field. Love the videos and the good vibes. Finally get to catch another stream and am stable enough IRL to sub on Twitch as well.
Thought she was gonna
Hope you're well. Keep up the good work. Lots of hugs.
Hey Maggie, thank you for the 4 months. Yeah, that was quite a long sub message, but thank you. Sorry, I did interrupt it a little bit. Alright, let's have a look after that. You guys are pretty low. You're looking for a reset. Yeah, so there's another one of those weird if you notice like an enemy support doing a weird play like this, do look out for it again. The Braum definitely massively overextending there. Yeah, and I mean, if you are duo with the Ezreal, another thing I'd say is that you need to communicate better about like what your intentions are playing and what he can play. You know, especially when you're only playing hard engaged champions, you kind of want to make sure that they're also playing something that can do well.
Do something with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you notice the situation. Good lantern, yeah. Although that definitely left Ezra exposed. Like if you're playing it, okay. So I wasn't quite aware, or I didn't hear that you said that you were actually duo of the Ezreal. Like at that point, like you need, I don't know, like what's happening on comms at that position, but like Ezra needs to like know he can't be overextending there by himself, because you are moving out, and once again you're looking for a hook for like nothing is going to come of that, so just don't waste it anyway.
Just don't do it, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. Like don't look to do things for no reason, basically. Like Ez at this point is like he needs to be back. If you
That's
guys...
absolutely a problem I have, is I try to force things when they shouldn't be.
Okay. So one thing I would say here, especially since you're duo, since you can communicate this in relay, so over to your AD carry, you just saved Rengar from like 2-3 people in the river, so you know they're likely going to be in the area doing dragon anyway. The next course of action, particularly if this was high ELO, would be they would notice his Ezreal's health straight away and they would come through here.
Try to dive bot, yeah.
And this would be a very easy dive since he's already used heal. So yeah, and no one, and you got TP on a cannon, so it would be kind of interesting, but you wouldn't want to be in this situation anyway, right? It's not a situation. So this Ezreal should be recalling. He should be telling your AD carry to recall here.
Okay.
Now he delayed his recall. Now he's putting himself in a position where he can't recall because then
because the Braum's coming back.
Way too much. The hook's decent. Yep. I mean, Ezreal's ending up losing most of this anyway, so. I mean, try and see if you can see if there's a chance to potentially freeze this wave coming up. I would move up a little bit around about here, just in front of the turret, just to see. But if they were then pushing up us 2, then I would then back off. I'd say overall, depending on how quickly Ezreal can get back into lane, this could potentially be good for you. But you don't usually want to, especially this early in the game, you don't really want to look for 2 plates. But the one play, they should be recalling here and spending their gold, because if we look at the Vayne's money, if I can remember the button to switch to that. Anyone in chat remember to change the button to view their gold? I think it's X. Yeah, it's X. So yeah, Vayne's currently sitting on 1.8k gold, 1.9k gold. Brom's on 1k. So this Vayne has an absolutely huge buy right now. And she should be recoiling in this brush and going back and resetting rather than looking to push in. Because now she's caught up in a situation where she's tried to damage this turret more, but now she has to clean out this wave, and your Ezreal's coming back into lane. So your Ezreal actually, even though your Ezreal was kind of scuffed, like in terms of that, he's now got Sheen over just the Doran's Blade on Vayne. So now is the time.
Now we look for engages.
Now, yeah, exactly. So now you have the item advantage. Now you want to keep these guys in the lane as much as possible while you have an item advantage over them.
Okay.
So there's 2 ways you can do that. You can look for an engage, which could be quite difficult still now because now Vayne hits 6. Another way could be is to force a freeze on the lane. So basically they have to either accept that you're freezing the lane and locked it. Like right here, right now, you could move forward and tank these minions. So basically you just want to punish them for in some way
for overstaying, yeah.
Exactly. So right now, yeah, you could have definitely have tanked these minions here away from this turret, and basically you want to just force the Vayne to either stay or just do a really bad recall.
Okay.
So I would move forward at this point rather than backwards, because I mean the Vayne's walked back anyway.
Yeah, because I walked him right back into the tower. Yeah, I needed him to walk forward.
Yeah. Does that make sense? Do you have any questions about that?
Yeah, absolutely. No, 100%.
So yeah, because you have,
especially since we saw the Braum walk backward too, so he wasn't like gonna be there as a threat.
Okay, so just to very quickly there, like, you know, overview it again. I don't want to like massively repeat myself, but you have an item advantage. Enemy teams overstaying. You just want them to stay in the lane as much as possible. If they are recalling, then you want to be able to punish the fact that they are recalling. So you're either keeping them in the lane or you're making sure that they're punished for leaving, basically. So yeah, if you held that wave, they would have lost 1 to 1.5 waves, because it would have been a cannon minion as well, doing extra damage to your minions, and you would just constantly would look to tank. Because that situation didn't happen, I think right now is you got 2 options here, depending on how quickly you can wave clear. So if you can wave clear these 6 minions really quickly, you want to reset after that. If it's looking like a freeze, then you let Ezreal last hit and freeze this still, and then you need to recall, because now you're the only person now in the lane that hasn't gone back to buy.
Yeah, and I only have 1 stack of Dorans at this point, so I think trying to freeze is a little bit better, right? Because the wave clear's not as fast as it would be.
I mean, at this point, I think it's going to be difficult to freeze the wave, because this will push backwards naturally now anyway, because the minions are even, and Ezra also will be doing like, he won't be perfectly last hitting the minions anyway. So this wave will naturally push back down into the lane anyway. Okay. So it's like, if you can push this in as quickly as possible, which I think you can with Relic Shield charges, you could do a decent job if you can quickly like get in front here, flay, and push that in, and then Ezreal then can recall as quickly as possible as well. He might want to do a reset as well. Or you just let him freeze, and then you go back and buy. By the time you get back, the wave will be probably around about here, but it won't be too bad.
Okay. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. So you're saying you just walk up, you try to push as much as possible, like flay it, keep autoing.
Yeah, so at this point, so the thing is here now, like neither of those things are now happening. So you're not pushing in, and you're not freezing.
And you're completely right. Like, my back doesn't go off until level 6 in this lane, I'm pretty sure.
So now you're the only person. What's now happened is that now you're the only person in the lane that hasn't recalled. Now you're in a situation here where if you recall now, you're now leaving this wave in a potentially like very precarious situation where the enemy team can now freeze this wave.
Yeah, and I recognize that. That's why I cancel it.
Yeah, now you can't really leave. So if the Vayne starts chipping away at these minions, I would say recall now, just because it's a cannon wave and it's Vayne, she can't clear too quickly. It wouldn't be like as nice as how we mentioned it earlier, but you could still manage to like go back, buy, and then get back into lane just in time. But that's basically what you're looking for, is just to make sure you can get back and get items now. So you can't actually be competitive down there. So yeah, Ezreal's now in a dangerous spot. He might be okay holding off by himself, but I think in high ELO you would get mega punished for this right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so you managed to make it back in lane. Okay, good. Wave's pushing. I think at this point, you haven't got your shoulder guards completed yet, have you?
No.
No, soon. But when you do, you want to make sure you have a... If you're going to keep getting pushed in like this, you want to have a ward here in this brush.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So as we mentioned before with the Vayne, the true silver bolts, just try... If you get 2 hits on you like that with the silver rings, just back off and let it reset off. Because you look at your health there, you're quite comfortable there. Like, it's not that bad. You took a couple of auto hits, sure.
Okay, and I see it's
and then it's the press the attack, and then it's the extra ring coming through in here. And you also got hit by a condemn as well. And you went straight basically from 80%, and then 2 autos later, you're now on 50%. So yeah, just respect
so
the 2.
Get hit by any of the autos, back off for a second if you have the 2 rings.
Yeah, and condemn can also activate the true silver bolts as well.
Okay. Yeah, I'm still trying to learn what all of the ADCs do. I started playing last season, and I have most of their passives and stuff down, but Vayne is one of the ones I don't see very often.
Just watching this fight right now. Nice Stanton try. Yeah, getting the kill there was fine. I think you guys just need to obviously look to disengage as quickly as possible. Rengar's deciding to keep going, which isn't your fault. But I would say you do have Lantern up.
Just immediately Lantern.
Yeah. Just make it clear that, you know, Ezreal's not coming. We're not going to win this fight, and we're really low. At this point here, if I saw Rengar going back in, just throw the Lantern down instantly. You don't want any part of this fight. You're not healthy at all. You're not going to better commit, and he's on no health. Just throw your Lantern out. Like straight away, rather than even bothering to look for a hook. Because yeah, I mean, yeah, you could have probably saved him there if you did Lantern rather than hook. This Vayne, this Ez shouldn't be looking to fight the Vayne here. I can understand why he ultied. It's a bit of a panic one, but I can understand why he did it. Play's decent there under the turret, free turret hit there. But I think at this point, you guys might need to consider just recalling and resetting here while the wave's like kind of frozen here in the middle anyway. Because you got another wave coming down here anyway. And these 2 guys aren't going to be able to push in this, but get back down into this lane, push this, and then push this quick enough. So you guys could just literally just immediately recall here, and by the time you come back
and
into
still
lane,
get back into lane.
Pretty much, yeah. That's what I would do.
Okay.
Okay. Hook's okay. Okay.
I missed the flay.
Yeah, we're not too concerned about the flay. I think it's more this Lantern just needs to be quicker. Like Q lands here, that's great. Just throw Lantern out straight away. Even if basically the Lantern was so late that even though like even if Ezreal Arcane shifts first instead of clicking the Lantern, you can still walk backwards anyway and click it, and then he ends up to around about here anyway, and then he can flash forward, so he ends up about just behind the turret basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, just a little bit more urgency on the Lantern in particular, I'd say.
Okay.
Yeah, you're not necessarily looking to be able to fight here once again, but you do want to be in a position where if these two do back off badly, it does happen even in high elo, where they just assume that this wave is going to be shoved in. You could always like put yourself in a position around about here to just block the minions from crashing under the turret. But generally in silver and bronze, people do greed for plates quite a lot, so usually
I think
people
that's
will
what
do
they
this.
do end up doing here.
Yeah, so at this point, Vayne, just in case this ends up for you, Vayne should be recalling now after taking that plate. There's no way she can get this third turret plate. And you've got Ezreal coming back into the lane. So once again, we're going to be in a point similar to earlier in the laning phase, where this Vayne is going to be overextending. So now she's going to have gold in her pockets, but she hasn't gone and spent it. So you basically want to do the same again. You want to either keep her in the lane with her the gold in her pockets, or you want to force a bad recall. So like you're freezing the wave basically. So one of those two things basically needs to happen at this point. So she's ultra greeding for this plate, and she's not going to get it like this. Yeah, once again, I wouldn't really bothered with the hook there, but yeah, so she's stuck in the lane now. And now you've got your Ezreal who's managed to go back and buy, and now he's full resources. So now at this point, I'd be looking to potentially... I would be hesitant to look for an actual fight here. I'd be trying to like go into the minion wave manipulation rather than looking for the actual fight, because I think you'd probably would still lose the fight anyway, particularly with your mana. So I'll be looking to outplay them in terms of the minion waves. Alright, I see you're recalling it. Yeah, it's unfortunate that you did throw out a couple of unnecessary hooks, so you've had...
Yeah, that would have saved me mana.
Yeah. And Vayne generally beats Ezreal on 1v1 anyway. Like, it's a losing matchup for him anyway. So yeah, now they get the extra plate. And Ezreal's now back on like no health, so you guys definitely can't fight. But if they greed again for this plate, once again they can't get this plate with this wave.
Yeah, they're just staying, especially with it being 13 minutes.
It's just a really difficult matchup for you guys, just because like Ezreal just beats Vayne, and also now Vayne is like ahead in levels, and Ezreal's half HP. I think the fight is good there. I mean, now that Brom's now come out, he was hiding. I think you can... I mean, Brom at this point is completely out of mana.
Yeah, that's why I looked for it in the first place.
Okay, like in this situation here, I don't think anything else is going to happen. I think these guys have got away, unfortunately. But now the next thing you immediately need to do, as soon as like you see the situation, like where you know you're not going to be able to catch them, is like how can you punish them? So once again, it's either pushing in the wave or freezing it.
And with that many minions, can we? Yeah, we would be able to.
Oh, easily freeze this, easily.
Yeah.
The question is here, do you chase these guys out to their turret? That's what I want to see.
So I do, and I'll tell you the exact reason that I thought I was going to. It's because I have Moby Boots already, and they were about to proc. No. So I thought, I missed everything and I die.
I mean, at least Ezreal manages to get a kill. I think that's extremely lucky. I think actually...
Yeah, my whole thought process was my Moby Boots is going to catch up to him. I'm going to try to do something, and I just missed everything.
Yeah. So I had a feeling that you would chase up from some of the aggressive hooks that you were doing earlier, and just because of the ELO it's very you know, kind of telling that this would likely happen. I just think like in this situation here, it's just like you need to just like quickly realize, look at the wave and just see like, can we punish via minions? Because this fight could have gone honestly way worse. Yeah. So don't try and chase. Don't try and like get too cocky about it. Like you can win. You win by doing nothing here. You've already like won You just need to manipulate this wave and like make sure it doesn't go under turret. So what happens here is, so say in theory that this fight goes a little bit worse, right? But let's have a look at the minions. Now, their wave has now crashed on the turret. So now you're losing CS here anyway. Which Ezra would have been able to claim. So yes, he does get a kill on Vayne. He does get... Can't even remember how much it is. It's 550 gold, which is nothing to, you know...
Off the shutdown,
squash at. But you're still losing 20, 40, 60... About 100 gold here, plus XP. Yeah. Plus you could have froze this wave and used this to deny the enemy XP and stuff. So looking at the wave state is just as important as potential, because it could have been potentially more than 550 gold, or in this fight could have been absolutely horrendous. Honestly, this was such a. I mean, Vayne still gets 300 gold for the kill on you anyway, so extra bonus gold really is 250, but you lost 100 gold here anyway, so you only gain 150 gold from doing that anyway. Yeah. So
when it could have gone worse and gone the other way.
The only thing Ezra can do in a situation that he has to shove this in as quickly as possible, which he is doing just about, and it will crash in. So when you get back into lane here, wave state is normal. So when you're coming back into lane here, where you know the enemy bot lane are coming back into lane, and your AD carry has to recall anyway, there's nothing else you can do here. Next, I want to see you at this point in the game looking to move into warding in the river, maybe a little bit deeper, maybe ganking mid. Those are the things you're looking for. You should be able to clear out this control ward. You should notice this and then make your way back into bot lane, basically. That is basically the plan at the moment. Let's see what you do. Yep, good. This is good. Good movement. Good oracles checking. Deep ward. Get rid of this as well. Always get rid of the Scryer's Boom when you're on their side, because you're leaving... Basically, you're leaving this up for them to then deny you vision.
It's like, kind of like the neutral objective thing where you want to take the plant too if it's there.
Yeah, so basically, if you leave this up and they hit this, they know the entirety of what's here, whether it's wards or no vision or anything, basically. Whereas if you hit this, you're not going to know a huge amount. You might discover a couple of camps, whether they're up or not, so that's not too bad. But you're not going to be able to like clear out wards or anything like that. But it's just all about denying the enemy vision. So whenever you're at this point here, just whack it. It literally doesn't, you know, I wouldn't even bother repositioning to an angle where you could maybe see more buffs. Like, I wouldn't like get behind it, because if an enemy jungler comes across here, then you're stuck in this kind of like alcove here, and you would have to then flash over. So just give it a whack, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Spongy made a good point. The ward placement here could be a bit better as well. You've crammed it right at the back of the wall. So if you were to position,
I should put it more toward the top.
Yeah, more like away from the brush as well, because then it would give you like a greater viewing angle potentially. But I generally like to put it at the tip here, because then you better see more, a little bit more going down into the chickens.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's good to see the macro movement. Yeah, their mid lane has gone back, and you know there's not a huge amount that you can do right now. You're still waiting for Ezra. I think this is fine if you were to do the scuttle, but
so I was starting to take the crab. I saw the ward.
Yeah, that's fine. You did everything fine though. Like the whole kind of, you did exactly what I would want you to do in that situation. So, you know how I mentioned how I wanted you to roam, you know, with the lane state. You did that honestly perfectly. Honestly, right? I haven't really got anything to say about that. And you're back in lane in time, linking out with the Ezreal, and
we spotted this Ka on a ward as well, so we knew a lane gank was happening.
Right? Yeah, you got a ward there, so you knew Kha'Zix was going to be down here. I think at this point here, then, if you know Kha'Zix is here and this turret health is incredibly low, you just got to ditch it.
Just walk away.
This turret has like no HP, and you know Kha'Zix is in the lane. If you press tab as well, I think he's got a Herald, so you know that if you should be aware that Kha'Zix also has it with Herald. So you know, like, this turret is like gone. You just gotta give it up. Like on Thresh, what you could do is let the Ezreal stay here and farm, and then you position yourself here.
With the lantern.
Exactly, and you just check out the lanterns. Just that allows Ezreal to get like 2 or 3 CS before he gets tower dove, basically.
Yeah.
So you're here now, you're in a really dangerous spot. I would be... Yeah, you already had to use Flash.
Yeah, so just walk away from that. We know it's going to go down.
Yep, and then you got Herald and our Rengar's here to kind of like back up the situation a little bit. I think letting Ezreal do poke here is fine. I think you still potentially want to like hang back a little bit. Okay, so Rengar is getting chunked. I think if you had your hook here, which you do, I would look for a hook here. When okay, so Shelly's a weird objective to kind of talk about. So, you know when you hit that eye, she takes a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Like that purple eye. Yes, yeah, so after she charges, the eye comes back up. So you could have hit this to then kill Shelly.
Oh, so it's every time she charges that immediately comes back up.
Pretty much, yeah. So you see how it is up now? So you could have auto hit that right behind her, killed off Shelly, and then look at the minions and look where they're positioned. So none of these minions will be able to tank this turret. And you have hook ready, so you could just easily hook this Braum and then flay him, and then he would take 3 turret damage.
Okay.
That would have been like... there's a small window to do that, but that would have been the perfect sequence to enable that to happen.
Okay.
Now you're in a pretty dangerous situation. I'm not sure why we're ulting here.
Yeah, this was more of, I thought the cost.
Yeah, as soon as you did that, and made that kind of misplay, you need to just be in a position where you're backwards and looking to save the Ez with your lantern. Like even here, he's taking way too much damage. When did you use your lantern? I was just trying.
I used it. So Rengar was on the other side of the wall, and I thought he was gonna come in with us.
Oh, I didn't see that. Okay.
Yeah, so the lantern was on cooldown.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, that lantern is just a misplay anyway because he's miles away. Yeah, that's a shame. Okay. Yeah, once again, this turret is like really low health at this point. I'll just say yeah, you just need to ditch.
Just walk off it, yeah.
Decent hook. You commit to it. Brom's gonna block it there. Unfortunately, it looks like the turret should get the kill. You don't have flash, which is a bit of a bummer. Okay, I mean, it's manageable now anyway. So anyway, let's wait until you respawn here. Let's have a look at your items now at this point. 16 minutes into the game. Still heading towards Locket. I'm gonna just talk about these Moby boots now. If you asked me like a year or two ago, Moby boots, I'd be like, yeah, sure. But honestly, it's really difficult to roam these days, and I would say like, especially with the amount of pressure that was happening to you guys in bot lane, I would say like, I don't think you can roam that much anyway. So I think Moby boots are just a waste of cash. So
do you think you would go the tank boots, or would you do the cooldown boots?
So Thresh, yeah, has like literally 3 different options. A popular one is the cooldown reduction boots because it reduces your summoner cooldown as well. Looking against their team composition, they've got a bit of mixed everything. Steel caps would be good against the Vayne and the Kha'Zix, and even the Cyan. Tenacity boots would be good against the Veigar cage and the Braum passive. I wouldn't criticize you for going any 3 of those boots, but I'm going to criticize you for taking the Moby boots.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So
well, I bought the Moby boots on the first back when we were still in a kind of okay spot, and then some bad plays happened and it got away from me. Okay. But yeah, I definitely, like in hindsight, I think I would have wanted to take the steel caps.
Just trying to work out when you did actually buy those. Yeah, I think at 9 minutes, when you were in that kind of rough spot and you were only really dealing with the Vayne and potentially a Kha'Zix in the laning phase, I would probably would be leaning towards steel caps or CDR boots.
Yeah.
Rather than the tenacity boots. So it would be like either one of those. You can make an argument not to go steel caps just because Vayne's, a lot of the Vayne's damage anyway is true damage with her damage. Yeah. So I probably would lean slightly towards cooldown reduction boots, but if you went steel caps, I wouldn't.
Yeah. My thought process with buying the Mobies was that the Kennen was down, and if maybe we stabilize bot lane and I can maybe get the Kennen ahead, then we can do something. But it's not worth it based on just buying like reduction for myself. That they're going to be hitting me a lot more, and then the Veigar does end up getting 3 kills on the Kennen.
So this is looking like a rough game anyway. Enemy team has 2 dragons. I think I'm way back.
Yeah, you're way back
positioned, yeah. So yeah, here we are. Yeah, you just respawned. Right, we're back up to where we were now. So Rengar gets caught. Okay, good urgency on the lantern this time. Yeah, so the main issue right now, it's quite a difficult position to be in when you're behind like this, because you kind of want to face check your jungle to acquire vision, but you're not going to be able to really. So yeah, you kind of need to work with like an Ezreal blue trinket here, your AD carry level 9, having a blue trinket to help out a little bit there. To kind of pinpoint where a couple of enemies are. Right, so you've identified... Okay. Right, we're going to pause it right here. So you've identified that 3 people are pushing down mid. So yeah, this is the shortest way. If you are going to play through this, then it has to be an engage. You are likely committing to an engage. I can see you got Cannon coming through here, but Cannon has no ulti. So by the looks of things already, it's looking really bad for you since you're already behind anyway. And you have no Cannon ulti coming through here. If we're looking at the map state as well, you got a split pushing Tryndamere. So, how has he been doing top?
He's been doing
really
fine top.
He's been doing amazing top. He's actually probably the strongest person in the entire game right now. In fact, he is. He's got the most gold. So, if I was analyzing this in the game and thinking, okay, our top is smashing their top, we kind of want to isolate that into a 1v1 situation as much as possible. So, what I'd be looking at trying to do here is not committing to this engage because Kennen has no ulti and because you're weaker anyway, but you want to try and keep these guys around as much as possible so they don't like recall and interrupt what Tryndamere is doing.
Fair enough, yeah.
So since you guys are coming through this way, I'm getting a hunch that you guys are going to fight here.
So the reason that I wanted to fight here, for one, I did not press tab and see Kennen and no ulti. That was my bad. But I did see Kha'Zix on the ward, so I knew it was only 3 of them. So I thought that we could win the 4v3 still without the Kennen ulti.
I think you guys are going to use the tier 2 turret, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you did the right thing, honestly, going around the back rather than looking to come from this angle and full commit. Because you didn't know where this Kha'Zix was anyway. Like, he could have been anywhere with the amount of vision that you've got anyway. So, in your eyes...
We saw him coming off of Dragon going toward Raptors, but that was the only time we had vision on him.
Okay. I mean, you traded tier 2 top for tier 2 mid. In your situation, I think it's fine. Okay, all I would say in this situation is you just want to get try and regain as much vision as possible on the map. So that's what I'm looking for, seeing what you're doing right now. Like this Tryndamere, you're not able to unfortunately engage these guys here that have run off down the mid lane. That's not a possibility anymore. And Tryndamere is no matter what this situation, you have no idea what the outcome of this situation is going to be like, but he's already got 1-for-1. He's got a tier 2 turret. In my eyes, this guy is dead, but he's buying time for you. So he's now just there as a distraction for you to be able to buy time in order to do what you need to do now on the other side of the map. So I'd be like looking at, okay, so I've got like 20 seconds here to potentially get some vision back on the map.
Yeah.
I think this Rengar is insane going this deep though. I would be hesitant to face check this brush without at least an Oracle's up running at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay, and you see, okay, right, yeah, we do not want to do this. You don't want to actually fight here. You know, say if you did land the hook on Vayne, say if that did interrupt it, the situation that you're in right now, where if you look at the people around you on the map, it would be really bad for you, because they would instantly turn on you and kill you.
I was trying to hook the Veigar here.
I mean, even if you hook Veigar, like if Vayne would cancel her recall, I'd just say like you don't need to look for random fights.
Yeah. especially when they haven't been fruitful other than that one earlier.
So your win condition is basically playing around the Tryndamere. I know in some cases it's like, okay, I need to make a pick here and trying to like get something happening and going here, but really you just want to make sure that you're keeping the enemy team occupied enough so that they're not looking at Tryndamere. And honestly, at this point, Tryndamere should probably be bot because he can easily take the tier 1 turret.
Yeah. Ezreal stayed down there a little bit too long. I think if Ezreal went up
because yeah, you're entering
toward us. 1
minute until Baron. I think it's okay that he's here right now, but very soon he's going to need to join up with the team. Yeah, and maybe someone like Kennen could maybe go bot as well because of the TP. So that the Kennen can always TP near the Baron if they end up doing it. Yeah, Ezra's linking up here now though, so yeah, you can't lantern that because if he takes it, he's going to hit the cage. Yeah.
I found out that interaction in this game.
Oh, there you go.
I know that now.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I think lanterning there is fine. It's just that Rengar should know not to click it.
Until the cage is down, yeah.
Yeah, because he would still get the shield from it. So I don't think that was like necessarily bad what you did there.
But I have to trust the fact that they're going to not take it until the correct moment.
One thing what I'd like to say at one point when you get into this kind of like mid-game situation of the game, try and keep a ward somewhere in this mid lane. Like ideally, if this tier 1 turret was down and you were ahead, it would be around about here. Just so that you can see rotations. But because you're getting pushed in, you still want to see like where they're going to be rotating off. So I would try and get one around about here. Where this kind of minion is, like around about here.
So that since we know they're going to be pushing into us, we can still catch the rotations.
Yeah, so like at this point, because if you guys are like hunched over here, where you get to a position where you push them back to here, you can tell whether or not they're going to keep committing down this line or if they're veering off, basically.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, once again, I think you're kind of just looking for a fight here. Like you're positioned really, really, really far ahead of your whole team. And you know, you need to understand like your wind condition is Tryndamere, so
we just need to stall them. We don't need to fight them.
Exactly. You just need to keep them busy, just kind of distract them. Yeah, and you just got punished heavily for that.
Yep. And then everyone runs it down trying to kill the Kazakhs.
And it's kind of your death that started that as well.
100%. Oh, it was my fault. 100%.
I mean, that kind of happens a lot in the bronze and silver. Like, if you're the one to get caught out, for some reason, people feel like they have to
go in.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was completely my fault. I caught out and 100% should have died for it. Someone in chat just said avenge them. Yeah, exactly.
Good hook. That's a good follow-up as well. Yeah, at this point, okay, I'm gonna just freeze it here. So what would be going through my mind right now is that you just killed their jungler, and now you have a decent like player advantage. You have your Tryndamere here as well.
So go Baron.
It's basically kill them as much as possible here and hunt them, and then veer off to Baron. Basically, you don't want to like go down too deep. Like you don't want to start going down into tier 2 area. Because you're too far away from the Baron, but like if hunting them down towards like the Baron area, like if you're going down into mid, and then at this point you can then just veer off the Baron because you're going to be going that way anyway, right?
Because we also know their Veigar's just respawning too, so he's not a part of this whole thing, so we can just get positioned for free.
Yeah. What have you got available here? You haven't got ulti, you have ignite, you have flash, you have hook. So yeah, I'd be still looking to be aggressive here now.
I try to flay the teleport.
Where's Tryndamere going? Tryndamere has no ulti, but he's bare. Okay, yeah, since the Tryndamere's not here anymore, I think you just can't do anything now. Or he's sticking around. Okay, then now I'd be looking for a flash hook here or something, just any engage here, because you've got that jungler dead. This is like the moment where you need to like shine and look for your
yeah, figure out an engage.
Yeah, it's just a little late. So yeah, the intention is there. It's just the urgency just needed to come through a little bit quicker, especially when you got two squishy people, like here, like right here. I would
just done it immediately.
I would just flash, flay, Q instantly, and then you would be in such a good position for the rest of the game here.
I think that's a theme as well. It's with the lanterns earlier too. It's just the urgency of all of my actions needs to be better.
Yeah, this would be such a good fight. You know, you got two of them dead. This is a 3v5. You really just need to force, like, they're overextending here. Like Veigar and Vayne are in, like, they're in front of their tanks.
Land.
Yeah, it's bizarre, but yeah. Yeah, they really, really needed to be punished. I mean, even like here, for example, even at this point, flashing and hooking in this line here, you're gonna get someone
because they have to dodge one way.
Because they can only go up or down. And I mean, if they have flash, Veigar doesn't have flash. I mean, Vayne could, in theory, tumble to the side, but then you still got the Veigar.
Yeah.
So just like identifying those moments where you can actually get them. And I think you identified it too late, and then you choose the tank. So yeah, just try. Like, if there's squishy targets, if you're ahead in a fight and there's squishy targets are mispositioned, just exploit that as quickly. Just go for it. Yeah. And I think that's going to be only one way you're going to learn like those situations as well is if you actually do them. Like, you know, people call it like limit testing. Like that would be like a limit test situation.
Moment,
And then it will like be a forever memory in the back of your head that you would like know what to do better in that situation.
That's also another situation where Nautilus would have been so busted. Because you hook one and you just walk up and auto the other one. Catch both of them.
So yeah, they've got Infernal Soul coming up potentially soon here as well. So you did a good job prepping up Vision for that. I would say keep prepping Vision up in the area. Your ward situation... Yeah, you got wards. So you're doing the right thing here.
Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
Okay. Alright, so they've done Baron. So when is this dragon actually spawning? That's one of the things that the client doesn't tell you. So yeah, unfortunately you guys didn't have Vision on Baron, so they're sneaking that through right now. I think you guys kind of realize. I think at this point in time, yeah, I don't think this is necessarily your fault. No one was here. I think it's like it's kind of one of those situations where if you let them have Infernal Soul, then they're probably going to get Baron anyway. But then if you let them have Baron, then you get the dragon. So it's like you've traded that basically. I can see why that has happened, and I don't really think it's necessarily your fault to blame off that. So I wouldn't worry about that. So you just need to hold off the Baron, basically.
Yep.
Yeah, lanterning there for the Rengar's fine on the recall. One thing I would say though is like, I think Cyan, if you just ulted here, you would have died. Like, Cyan,
100%, yeah.
Cyan should just be engaging you here, so just give a little bit of respect for those like ultis that can catch you out like that. Yeah, ward over the wall. I mean, your warding is fine, and you know where you're moving to warding the locations. Okay, yeah, the hooks, the random hooks need to stop.
Yep.
Alright, this could be an okay fight for you. Decent hook that time. Tryndamere is finally coming back into the mix.
Yeah, he comes and cleans up.
Yeah, this is the Tryndamere fight, yeah. Okay, this is good news for your team because now you've saved off the Baron. Their Baron honestly got very little. Alright. And now you're back mid. Yeah, just clean out this is the absolute perfect time to clean out Vision in your jungle while the enemy team are dead. Yep, good lantern. Rengar taking the red buff was pretty BM.
Yeah.
Yeah, once again, like we mentioned, just like try and get that ward in the middle of the lane here. It's just super important.
Yeah, that's a really good thing for me to work on.
Yeah.
Because I don't usually ward in lane.
I usually mention this to everyone that I coach, because most people don't know. Because at this point here, now you don't have vision. So it's like you don't know, where is this Veigar going? Is he going to keep overextending in mid? It could be a
I did a baby ward in lane, like a little bit further up, but not all the way up, yeah.
Yeah. You don't know. Yeah, I mean, yeah, like back to that ward again, you would have known that Veigar was coming up here, and you had a brush hit here as well that you could have maybe you made sure there's no ward in here. You could have potentially made a play anticipating that this Veigar was going to patrol up. That's just like another situation where that ward is kind of OP.
Yeah, absolutely.
And at this point here, you should I think you're probably tunnel visioning too much on this. I could see this already. You're probably looking at this situation here, but honestly, if you guys could make a switch over to this Veigar, he's by far the strongest person here. That would be huge for you guys, and I think he used his Zhonya's as well in the last team fight, so it should be on cooldown.
I did check this time that Kennen had his ult.
So you have two options here, right? So you can switch over to the Veigar, or you need to delay Veigar from getting into this fight.
Yeah.
I would literally just pop my ulti here, just so that Veigar would have to walk through it, and he would just be so delayed to get into that. So here I would just lock this off for the Veigar, so he takes an extra 5 seconds getting into this fight, and then just fully commit like with a flash and just get this fight done with as quickly as possible, and then looking to switch back onto the Veigar.
Yeah, absolutely. I really like the ult there. I definitely should have done that.
Nice try with the lantern. Yeah, it's just a shame once again. It's like the urgency. I think he could have maybe flashed forward potentially and joined up there. I think Thresh could have done more as well. So right now, you guys are trying to defend a tier 1 turret like this. You guys just need to back off again.
No reason to. Yeah. Later in the game.
Yeah, it's just too deep. At this point as well, you need to start thinking about like I mean, you actually have decent vision. These are your wards. Yeah, it's fine. Like if you had no vision here, then you would want one over here just to see where they were going to rotate to after pushing in this wave.
We were lucky enough to get that moment.
Once again, a random hook, dude.
Yep. Yeah, I really need to stop it.
Yeah. Because even if you land a hook there, what do you think is going to happen? Like nothing's really going to come out of that, and you're now in an overextended position where Veigar would just cage you, and then you would just die. So yeah, you just need to.
I need to be less antsy.
Because now Veigar knows you have no hook. Look where he is right now. Now he's engaging on your AD carry because he knows there's absolutely no threat coming from you.
Yep.
You might die. Yeah. Okay, so you got your most fed guy here, Tryndamere. You got Flash, you got Ignite, you've got Ulti. I want to see you chasing up. Good, at least you didn't have to use any summoners. That was actually a lot easier.
Yeah.
And then it'd be straight recall back into bot lane. You running over. I'm not sure why you're running over. Because at 20 minutes into the game...
I canceled the recall on accident.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So then I thought, well, just running there is probably better than recalling.
And then at this point, you've got the dragon coming up. Someone just pinged it, so you just want to prep up for that then quickly. And then reset as quickly as possible, because you're going to need wards again for the Baron.
Yeah.
So here I'd want to see you recalling like really quickly, and then looking to prep up your top side of the jungle. Okay, so this is like the first like macro mistake I think I've seen you do.
Yep.
Which is quite impressive,
for whatever
honestly.
reason. Well, thank you. No, it was I thought that like in my mind I'm like I recalled to go back to the lane so I have wards up, and then I look at my inventory and I'm like, oh fuck, and then.
Yeah, because you never actually recalled to get
I never
wards.
actually recalled because I canceled it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, if you had recalled, yeah, you would have had wards in and maybe an extra control ward or two. So yeah, this is now, yeah, macro blunder from you.
Macro mistake, yeah.
I was honestly expecting more macro mistakes though this year though.
Well, luckily playing with the better players in those norms definitely helps my macro play, because they know what they're doing.
So your team actually steals Baron here. I like how you committed with your jungler as well to go into the pit. It's a good hook onto the Kha'Zix. Locket could have maybe come a little earlier, but it's still good that you used it. You kind of stuck here, so you kind of have to fight anyway, no matter what. I think that's fine, what you did there. Good. And Trindamir's now split pushing, and he has a Baron buff. Yep, I like that you committed with your jungler there for that play. Nice, and you got inhib off that. Does he live? He lives as well, this guy's crazy.
Yeah, he was playing out of his mind. Hullbreaker is a hell of a drug.
Yeah, at this point here, like water, as we were mentioning now, this turret to one turret's dead.
Mid lane.
Water, yeah. Yeah, okay. At this point here, I would say it's okay for Ezra to do this if you're staying back and getting ready to lantern. If anything, I would probably pre-lantern it just so that he can click it as quick as possible when Veigar puts that cage down. Because if it's too late, then he won't be able to actually click the lantern, and Veigar will actually just one-shot him.
Yeah, and it kind of gives my attention too. Like it's like, hey, I don't want to commit to this very far. I just want you to be safe.
Yes, exactly. I mean, also you have no vision on your flanks as well, and it's just you two overextending. So like, you know, you being here like with the map, the wave is okay. A little risky since you have no extra teammates nearby, but the safer play would be to just stay here to lantern through.
Yep.
Even like here, there's such a big gap. I'd lantern. Lantern. Okay.
The urgency thing.
Unlucky that the hook misses. The hook does land, it's a kill, but it's not. I'm not going to judge you on that. Yeah, in that fight, you kind of did your role. I would just say like that. This fight only happened because you two were overextended.
We're there in the first place.
Yeah. So since you two are a duo, you kind of need to think about like the other pieces that are moving on the map.
Yep.
Like also in a position where, let's have a look at it again.
If we were there, I should have had vision in the first place if we were ever thinking about being there.
So being in this position here is okay if there's pressure elsewhere on the map. Okay, because say if they collapse with their whole team here, but you have like Tryndamere about to push in or already pushing in on tier 3, you get something, right?
Yeah.
But because Tryndamere is, you know, killing a control ward and, you know, there's nothing happening down on the spot lane, there's no reason for you two to be here really in the first place.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you are going to push in late game turrets like this, just make sure you have something happening, either your team's with you, or you have your split pusher doing something on the other objectives, basically.
Yeah.
It could even be like you've got this inhib down. It could even be that you've got like 3 super creeps entering into the base here, and then you're pushing in here because then like that they have to deal with a pressure point. But the only pressure point that the enemy team has to deal with is you two clowns in mid. Right?
Yeah, because Tryndamere stopped pushing top, so he's not a threat at the moment.
Yeah, he's not doing anything, yeah. So the whole enemy team has just noticed that. 2 people
and they're like, hey.
Yeah.
I also should have lanterned way earlier. That was a mistake.
Yep. Shame not more came out of that cannon ulti.
Yeah.
I think all things considering, for that overextension, it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, the cannon ulti kind of saved that.
Trina is still doing his thing down there as well. Okay. Right, so once again, you want to get vision around the bot side of the map because dragon's spawning, and it looks like you're doing that, so that's good. I would okay, so when you've got oracles running and you know that's a control ward, I wouldn't like finish killing this yet.
Okay.
Because you have no vision here and here. Every second that you don't put vision here, you're basically like, you know, letting the enemy come in and potentially attack you.
And it becomes harder to do face check afterward.
So just make sure you get the vision over, or even over the wall. It probably would be too risky to overextend all the way. I mean, you can see the team here. You could probably put a ward here. whack away the Scry's orb, then come back to kill this. Yeah, because now you're bashing this for like 3 seconds, which gives the enemy more time to get into this area here. So yeah, and that ward's not going to go anywhere, right? So
yeah, that makes perfect sense.
If it was a normal ward, stealth ward, I would clear it. If it is a control ward, I wouldn't clear it. Not straight away. Yeah. The urgency is just not there.
Auto. They know I'm there.
Can I ask about this ward? Why like this?
So to be honest with you, the point that you just brought up about them potentially being over the wall and collapsing on me, I didn't think that I could walk up to the wall because I thought I was going to die. But because we see Trendemir top with the one person right now, but the others are like collapsing on him. So I thought that if I went over to like that brush or over to like toward raptors, that I would just get jumped on by the Kazakhs and die. So I just dropped it on the dragon to be like, hey, we can see if they're starting it.
Okay, my main query about this is just like where the ward is.
Mm-hmm.
If this ward was centralized here, you would have more vision outside of here, because by the time when you move out around the corner, which will happen here. There we go. So you guys don't have as much vision up the river or down the river as you could have.
Yeah, absolutely.
So just make sure you're getting like as much maximum, because this ward is like 25-30% of this ward isn't giving you vision on any location.
Mm-hmm.
So
I also probably should have just put my control ward into the bush that I cleared the control ward out of.
Yeah.
To get like the top river control.
I mean, Trindam is currently keeping them really busy in their base, so this is just looking like... I think you could look for a fight here. You see Trindamir's got 2. He's doing a 1v2 right now, which means there can only be 3 people on this side at most. So you guys should be looking to try and win a 4v3.
Yep.
So
that's why I tried for the hook on the cob, but I missed it. So it was...
But you guys shouldn't be running away here, though. Because... now Trindam is now having to run away from his 1v2 that he was losing. It's going to give these guys time to now get into here, so we need to keep looking for stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, now Trindam is dead, now Vayne and Sign are definitely going to be coming over, so you just need to look to... Yeah. So I wouldn't even say, like, I can see you were fishing for hooks, but I would try and look for more than that. Like, even if it means
just try to like get
anything happening. Like, if you didn't have flash up at the time, I don't think. But like, even just getting closer with a flay, just anything. Like you want to be walking to them, not away from them. Because if you walk to them and they back off, it means Rengar can just hit this dragon for free. If they commit for a fight, that means they are committing for a fight, and you're still 1 player plus, right? So. And since you're the only person in your team that can really engage that force that situation, maybe Kennen could as well. It's kind of like your role to do that. So that's now Infernal Soul for the enemy team. Now it's going to be getting a bit tricky.
Yeah.
So next objective is Baron. You're going topside. So yeah, apart from that one macro blunder, like honestly, your pathing and where you need to be doing a warding is fine. It's more just like champion mechanics plus decision making.
Absolutely.
And this is like a classic reason of why I don't advise people to play Thresh in like bronze and silver and even in gold sometimes. Good.
Yeah, I need to just stick to the Nautilus and the
Nautilus and Leona, I would say for you. That is probably the game now.
Yeah. I thought my team was gonna follow up on it.
I think this is just the remnants now of them getting Infernal Drake and just having too much.
You'd think that, but Trindamir's a pretty big boy.
It's just difficult because you're up against 2, maybe even 3 scaling champions on the enemy team.
Oh yeah, and we do end up losing the game, but doesn't end quite yet because Trindamir gets to clean up and get some waves pushing.
I think here you know, they've already got Baron. I think you just need to have the defensive wards down already. I think it's unlikely that you guys are going to just be able to be aggressive straight off the bat. Like Trindam is like not respecting that either. So Trindam is probably going to be in a lot of trouble here.
Yeah.
Nice Lantern save, but yeah, he does die. So yeah, even though that Trindamir is like really far up, like you guys just need to identify. Okay, they got Baron. We need to win a fight on our side of the map before we can push forward. So wards at this point should be like the one ward here and a ward around here.
Like
and,
very defensive out.
Exactly.
Out of the base
You're not looking to be able to like outplay them out on the field necessarily.
Of course, yeah.
Unless you were all grouped up as like 5 or had like all 4 with a TP ready on your team to flank in, then I wouldn't be looking to have wards out like that.
Okay. Yeah, and then that is the end of the game, I'm pretty sure.
So overall, I'm just going to pause it here now then, since this is the end of the game. So your mechanics of Thresh on the hooks are good. The flays and lanterns would need more work.
Yeah.
I think you're probably good with the hooks because you've experienced with Blitzcrank and stuff like that, and Mortis anyway. So same tools there. Let's talk about the positives first, I think. So the macro was good. There was just, as I said, there was that one blunder. I think overall you've got a very good understanding of where you kind of need to be. So for silver, I think this is good. Really good, like groundwork to build off. Awesome. It's just that you need to capitalize on like the decision making needs to be in the actual fights, needs to just be up there a bit more. And I want to I want to see you throw your skill shots less frequently, just like out randomly, just for the sake of it. But like if you see someone out of position, then I want you to kind of like go crazy, particularly if they're a squishy target.
Get the flash engage, get the ults down.
Because you're looking for a fight like all the time, but at the times where you could actually have a really good fight, you're not actually like going in for it. So
and that was kind of a byproduct of the I was looking for fights what I shouldn't have, so I didn't feel confident in engaging what I should have.
Right. So yeah, just also another big part of like the engage support thing is just like looking at the map overall and then deciding like if it is even worth having the fight anyway, or if we should be having the fight. So for example, like, you know, if Tryndamere isn't hitting a turret or close, or, you know, on objective on another side of the map, then if you fight here and lose, like what are you going to be getting from that, or what are you losing from that? So if you guys are just gambling a 50-50 like fight, like, you know, you're not sure if you're going to win it or lose it, but like there's only bad things that will come out of you losing the fight, then it's just not worth the risk. But if you guys have a fight and you lose but you still get something else on the map, then it's like, it's obviously not the ideal situation, but you're not as far off as you were, if that makes sense. Yeah, absolutely.
I think the minion manipulation was also something that I caught out that I think is really important. I think we could have gotten in a lot better spot in that lane that we were behind in anyway because of that initial bad play. So making sure that I got those freezes and I set up my ADC for success is definitely something that I need to work on as well.
Yeah, laney phase for sure. Understanding wave management and understanding like if the enemy is holding a lot of gold and you or your AD carry have already gone back to buying, you just want to keep them in the lane as much as possible. Like if that Vayne is stuck on a Doran's Blade when your Ezra has spent 1,200 gold, then that is a really huge advantage for you to have, and it will set them back on the back foot, and it means that you should then have a higher chance of winning those fights.
100%.
Things like that. So I hope that gives you a better idea of what to do in your games and stuff.
Absolutely. It absolutely does, because I was pretty confident in my movement and my macro play. Sometimes I over roam a little bit when I should stay bot, but it's really the mechanics and getting down into it, which, I mean, that's why I chose support in the first place. My hands are old, but I enjoy it a lot, and I definitely appreciate you taking the time.
So I'd say stop buying Moby boots as well.
Yeah.
I don't think it's worth it, and I think you need to focus more on, as we mentioned, like the lane state. I think it's okay what you were doing, like moving around that one time to mid when you had the opportunity to, but I wouldn't look for more than that. Just the occasional opportunity to move and ward, and then that's it. You don't really need Moby Boots for that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Hope that helped you out. Have you got any questions?
Okay, awesome. I don't think I have any questions off the top. We kind of went through everything and explained everything pretty well. But yeah, I really, really appreciate it. Thank you for taking the time to do this free coaching session.
That's all right. And just obviously you were duo here, so just talk with your AD carry maybe a little bit before the game goes and decide like kind of like what you want to do before the game starts.
Yeah. Originally he wanted to pick Tristana, and the Tristana got banned, and the only other ADC he played is Ez.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Guess yeah. I mean, Thresh doesn't really do that great with Ezra anyway, since he has his own arcane shift, and you know, there's those couple of situations there where he was arcane shifting at the same time that you would then throw your lantern out, and then it would be a bit iffy from that. I mean, one thing you can do in that situation is make the lantern range shorter, so that he either has to walk through it for 1 second, or he can choose to arcane shift into it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Instead of throwing it on top of him like you normally would.
Yeah, but ideally you don't want to really be playing Thresh with an Ezra anyway.
Yeah, of course.
And ideally you don't really want to be playing Thresh at this ELO.
At this ELO in general.
Yeah, so yeah. Alright, well, all the best, and let me know how you do.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'll keep you updated.
So what are you, Silver 2 right now, right?
So I'm Silver 3 right now. I just demoted yesterday.
Okay, so next time we speak, in a week's time or something,
yeah,
be Silver 1, yeah?
Oh, 100%. And still trying to put in those 4 to 5 games that I was talking about in the free coaching thing on the Discord anyway. So hopefully I can get back to that point.
All right, good luck. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
All right, well, I hope you guys enjoyed that coaching session. For anyone that's just tuned in and stuff, I don't do free coaching that often. Just kind of like on the spur kind of moment, and I hope you guys got information out of that and kind of enjoyed that overall. So yeah.